Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 Prestige class description for you. And today, again from the Complete Warrior, we have the Master of the Unseen Hand. Now, the Master of the Unseen Hand is an interesting class. It's a really weird one. So we're going to talk about what they are. We're going to talk about what it takes to enter the Prestige class, what they get, and how good they are. So let's get started with that. So first off, the Master of the Unseen Hand. Basically, it's an order of mostly sorcerers that have decided to really push the limits of telekinesis and get really, really good at that one particular spell. Now, wizards can do this too, of course, and anyone who can actually use the spell telekinesis is capable of this. So that would include, things that get it as a racial ability, like ghosts and get Yankee, and then there's also, demons and beholders can potentially do this as well. So that, there's a number of different races that can do it as well. Although it's mostly the sorcerers and sometimes wizards that are going to be doing this. That's basically what they are. There's some people who have telekinesis and they get really good at it. So let's get into what it takes to become a Master of the Unseen Hand. So first off, for their requirements, they need to have concentration, 8 ranks, and they need to be able to have access to telekinesis, either as a spell or spell-like ability, and that's it. That's all the requirements, which is pretty lax on requirements. Honestly, as far as prestige classes to get into, it's pretty easy. If you're going like the wizard or sorcerer route, it's kind of free, assuming you wanted telekinesis in the first place. There's really no requirements beyond that. So yeah, especially wizard, you can just buy a scroll of telekinesis and put it in your spell book. Done. And that takes care of all the requirements, because you're going to want those 8 ranks in concentration anyways if you're a caster. So yeah, that's it. Let's talk about what they get, since that was real quick. So what they get, well, first off, they get a D4 hit dice, which is standard for a caster. They get good base attack bonus, which is really surprising. They get a good will save, but bad fort and reflex, which again is a little weird. Is pretty surprising, pretty standard for a caster, but no spell progression. That's the weird one. That's the big kicker for this one. No caster level progression. It's also in the Complete Warrior, which is a weird place to see something like this. Let's talk about their extra stuff that they get. They get skills, 2+ int, not great, and not a great skill list either. Then on top of that, they get improved caster level, which basically just means that for the purposes of telekinesis, their levels in their levels in this prestige class, Master of the Unseen Hand, will stack with their caster levels, or if they got it through a spell-like ability, it will cast for their caster. It'll increase their caster level by whatever means they got it. So yeah, makes them better at it. So not bad. It definitely means they're keeping up with this one particular spell. They get versatile telekinesis, which basically what that means is it allows them to use the 3 effects of telekinesis interchangeably. So there's 3 different forms. There's sustained force, which lets you use lift things and do some basic stuff. There's combat. There's the combat one, which basically lets you do things like bull rush and trip attempts and disarms. So you're able to do things like that using telekinesis. And with both those two, the spell lasts for minutes per level, or not minutes, rounds per level. I don't know, I said minutes. But then there's a third version which allows you to push a bunch of stuff and throw them all at a target, and damage the target and potentially the things you throw, if the things you throw are alive. And yeah, so you can kind of switch that up. So you can use, instead of having to pick one, like you can switch between the first two as you see fit, and then finish off with the third version, which the third version is an instantaneous effect. Once it's done, it's done. So yeah, that's basically what they get at, I think, first level. Then they get Telekinetic Wielder, which basically it just means they are able to pick up weapons that their enemies might have. Like if they can pick up a sword, like maybe they disarmed a weapon from someone, now they can hold it and actually attack somebody with it, or they can just hand a weapon they have off to be used with telekinetic force. They can move it up to 20 feet with no attacks of opportunity because it's being done with telekinetic force. Yeah, so that's kind of nice. They can pick stuff up off the ground and use it too. They can actually like steal your weapon and then attack you with it. Not on the same turn, at least not initially. Then they get sustained concentration. That makes it so that they can do the ability, so they can use telekinesis without, and it's easier for them to not lose the concentration. They can do it as a move action instead of a standard action, and on top of that, it allows them to not be able to potentially cast another spell while concentrating on telekinesis, as well as a couple of other kind of nice things. It just makes it easier for them to do that. Although they can't concentrate on another spell, or else they'll lose the effects of telekinesis. But they can cast one, the one that just doesn't have concentration. So yeah, not bad. And it'll let them, take other actions and whatnot. Then they get full attack telekinesis, so that just makes it so that they can make, when using the combat version, they can, attack with a full attack. Of course, using their caster level as in place of base attack. So that can be kind of decent. Getting a lot of attacks in so steal someone's weapon and then whack them with it a bunch. With this version, you could steal it with the first attack and then use the weapon to attack them for the iterative. That works. Lots of interesting things you can do with that one. Then you get improved violent thrust at 4th level. This will basically let you this makes it so that the spell doesn't end when you use the violent thrust version. So you can potentially use the violent thrust version every turn. Get a lot more uses of it that way. So that's pretty good. Definitely, if you're like the violent thrust version of it, it can kind of effectively give you, way more uses of it than normally allowed. So that's nice. Also, I think you get to add, I believe you also add like your intelligence or charisma, whichever's your casting stat, to the damage for any time whenever you throw things at people. So yeah, a little more damage. Oh, and you're just better at it in general. It actually really improves that ability quite a lot. Finally, again at 4th level, you get Telekinetic Flight. This lets you fly using telekinesis. Normally, you can only pick up objects with sustained force. Now you can pick up yourself and a number of friends. I think it's 1 for every 3 caster levels. And they can be carrying up to medium load. So willing creatures, medium-sized. You can pick up bigger ones, but a large counts as 2 medium. Huge counts as 2 large, so 4 medium. Gargantuan counts as 2 huge, which counts as 4 large, which counts as 8 medium. Colossal, it goes on. It's effectively 16 medium. But anyways, you can pick up some friends and carry them. They don't all have to go in the same direction. They just all have to stay somewhat close to you. And if your concentration wavers or you get hit with like dispel magic, then you just lose it, and everyone falls to the ground taking a bunch of damage, which can be, it's just a little bit of a hazard, but it is what it is. And then finally you get at 5th level you get Fling Skyward. So when doing the Violent Thrust, you can, instead of throwing them at someone, you can just throw them straight up into the air. And you can throw them 10 feet per caster level, which is kind of a lot. Like at 20th level, you can throw them, 200 feet up into the air, at which point they're going to take, they're going to fall the next turn, taking a d6 for every 10 feet. So basically, and there's no cap on this. So when they fall, they're taking caster level d6 uncapped, which can be quite good once you get to epic level. So yeah, that's all these guys get. Now, let's talk about how good they are. Well, they're really good with telekinesis. No doubt about that. They are supremely good with that one particular spell. And this is only 5 levels to get, so that's not the end of the world. The problem with it is you are giving up all caster progression. So you're not picking up new spells while you're in this class. Your other spells that you have aren't getting any better. Telekinesis is, sure, it's progressing perfectly, it's progressing, getting all the benefits as if you had continued in your wizard or sorcerer class, plus all these ones. It's just none of your other spells are progressing as if you were advanced in wizard or sorcerer, and on top of that, you're not gaining new spells, which are more powerful, because their 5th level is mid-level spells. You're not getting your 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th level spells, which are the really powerful ones. So you are losing out on that, which is a bit of an issue. So yeah. Now another thing with this is, if you got in like as a ghost or something, okay, this kind of works for martial, get you some of this for a little while. But it's not, if you take other martial class levels, this doesn't have any synergy with them. So you're not really going to be getting, you're not going to be able to gain from those. Like gaining from those won't improve this, and this won't improve any of those really, other than the good base attack. Although the D4 hit dice is a bit of an issue, more than a bit of an issue in all honesty. So it's not even a great option there, especially seeing as, I mean, it's okay, but once you finish these 5 levels, then what? There's really nothing that is gonna make all your other options underwhelming at that point, or at least more underwhelming than they would have been had you just not taken this. Now for a wizard sorcerer, I mean, it could be decent, particularly at epic once you get to high levels, like epic levels, it's not so bad. Yeah, your caster level is going to drop for all your other classes. However, you can take practice caster to make up for most of that. So that wouldn't be so bad if you took this with the intention of going epic. That actually could be pretty good. You make this one telekinesis spell extra powerful, and all your other spells are almost as good. They're only going to be 1 level behind. Now, this would stack with practice caster, but it can still only get you up to max caster level. So if you're doing it just like that, it won't. Like, so if you take Sorcerer, Master of the Unseen Hand, and nothing else, practice caster will not apply to your telekinesis, because you're already capped on that. But if you took like fighter for some reason, then yeah, it would stack in that case. But not unless, but only because, like, okay, now you have sorcerer, fighter, master of the unseen hand. Yeah, you're going to be a couple levels behind, so practice caster can help catch you up. But at that point, your other spells are going to be even more behind. So kind of an issue there. Hope I explained that well. That's a really confusing concept right there. Whether or not this stacks with practice, whether or not improved caster level stacks with practice caster. The answer is kind of, sorta. It's a really complex, deep question, and I think I answered it well enough. Hopefully, let me know. But yeah, it's not the worst out there, but it does have its issues. Losing 5 levels of caster progression is a lot. You do get pretty good with this spell, in all honesty. Like, you can, use the normal version that's, based only usable, just a one-time use. You can use that a number of rounds equal to your caster level, And then if you want to do that number of rounds equal to your caster level -1, and then finish it off with the Fling Skyward version. Oh yeah, that Fling Skyward version does end the effect immediately, regardless. There's no way to make that not end it. So the Fling Skyward, if you're going to use that, you should use that like at the end of when Telekinesis is about ready to end. But yeah, you can get a lot of uses. But I mean, how many can you do in combat? Like combat usually is only maybe 5 rounds, and then there's usually a long gap between that. So anything after 5 rounds that doesn't go minutes or hours per level is kind of useless. So yeah, but it's decent. It could be better for sure. You're giving up a lot to go into this, and you're not getting. You're only getting advancement of 1 spell. It is good advancement of that spell, and it is only 5 levels. But with those 5 levels, you could get, 2 levels higher spells. Well, 2.5. You can get like 7th, 8th levels, like 7th, almost 8th level spells, and some of those are pretty good. Plus all the extra spell slots that you'd get for your lower spells. You're giving up all of that. Like I say, if going epic, not so bad because you're not going to get that stuff anyways. You already cap on those. But until epic, although at the same time, it's kind of good to get it pre-epic because that base attack bonus will, it's just nice to have. It can help with a number of things. So I think the best way to do this is to take it pre-epic with the intention of going epic later. It will set you back a fair amount, but you'll catch up later and probably be stronger for it. So there's that. Especially if you take practice caster, then you lose a lot less, assuming you're going epic. You do have the skill issue, which is a bit of a problem. Probably better for a wizard because of that. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this one. It's certainly an interesting prestige class. I guess, actually, if you're going epic, another thing that you could even do, I don't know if this is even worth it. I'll mention it though. You could take some epic levels to gain access to what would you need for that? Pretty high level spell slots. I think 14th level spell slots, something like that. So you'd have to take like 5 epic feats to do it. And then you could take a regular feat in order to gain telekinesis as a spell-like ability usable at will. So that would be kind of cool. But I don't know. Seems kind of worthless. It seems, well, not worthless, but it seems not worth it considering like this lets you give nice sustained use of it. Like you can use these spells for a lot longer. So yeah, that's probably not a great idea. I don't know why I mentioned that. Just something that popped into my head. Thought it was good for a second, then realized no. I mean, maybe you can find a better use, but doesn't seem like a good idea now that I think about it. Anyways, I'm rambling. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more videos. I do videos on every class, race, and prestige class in D&D 3.5. And ring that notification bell so you never miss out on a video. Anyways, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you